What's up? In this video, we're going to introduce a concept called intervals, which is measuring the distance between any two notes. And this video is the first one that's going to get a little bit technical. And we're going to list out all of the intervals. And so just, think about that concept for a second. Like if I'm playing the note A and I want to measure the distance between it and any other note on the piano, well, there's a lot of notes on the piano, and so there's a lot of intervals. So we're going to list the first 12 of them out, so we're going to contain it from sort of A to A, and we're going to give them all names, and it's going to seem just a little bit overwhelming, or it has the potential to, because there's going to be 12 names of different intervals. And I want to say up front, we're just doing this as an exercise just to get you comfortable with the concept of measuring distances between two different notes. The point of this is not for you to memorize the names of these intervals, so don't be intimidated by that. We're just laying this out as a foundation because it is foundational. Being able to measure the distance between any two notes is sort of one of the major building blocks of this course. In fact, it probably is the major building block of this course is measuring intervals. So this video is about intervals, and off we go. All right, what's up, everybody? How's it going? In the last video, we created this flat piano, which we showed was the same thing as this part of a normal looking piano, and I demonstrated that by hiding these rows right here and showing you that, look, here is this normal piano, just the top half, and it looks exactly the same as this flattened out piano, where each individual note, including white and black notes, occupy the exact same physical space. Okay, so A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and of course back to A. All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of a visual reset here. Notice, by the way, I did make this a little bit prettier. I put some borders in between these cells to make them look like individual keys, and I made this nice and blue. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this sheet Flat Piano so that we're nice and organized. All right. Now, for visual simplicity, I'm going to take all the rows, here, and I'm going to hide them, and so now we are looking at just one octave, meaning the distance, we're just looking at 12 notes, A through A flat. And I'm going to insert one more column here, and I'm going to give a definition. A half step, which we talked about last video, is the distance between two adjacent notes. And so a half step is this distance from A to A sharp or B flat. I could also start on any note. I could start on C sharp, and I would say the distance from C sharp to D is also a half step. So I'm going to say this is one half step. I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to say 2 half steps is equal to this distance. And I just want to say before we go any further that if you're looking at this and you're looking at you see one half step, but you're like, hold on, I see 2 boxes. Let me clarify something. A half step is a distance between 2 notes. So yes, there are 2 notes, but there is only one distance, and that distance is a half step. How do I know? Because I start on one note, and I went boop over to the next note. That is a half step. If I wanted to go 2 half steps, I would start here, and I would go 1, 2. So when you're counting a distance in music, you don't count the note you start on. You simply count the number of half steps between that note and the note you end on. So if I wanted to count the number of half steps, for instance, between A and C, I would start on A, and then I would say 1 half step, 2 half step, 3 half steps. Okay. 3 half steps is equal to the distance from A to C, and so on and so on. And before you panic that I'm going to write this whole thing out in front of you, rest assured that I've already done it, and it's over here on this sheet. So here we are. We've got 1 half step, the distance from A to the note right next to it, A sharp or B flat. 2 half steps from A to B, and then all the way down, 1 half step, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half steps, 7 half steps, 8 half steps. Let's just give a great example. So from A to F would be 8 half steps. From A to F sharp would be 9 half steps. From A to G would be 10 half steps. From A to G sharp, 11. And then from A all the way to itself would be 12 half steps. You might be wondering, are there special names for each of these intervals? Like, do we say, well, 4 half steps is the distance between A and C sharp, or is there like a cool name that we can call this? Turns out there are very cool names for it, and I have written them down here. So, from A to itself is 0 half steps, and we call that a unison interval, meaning it's the same note you're playing. On a piano, you can't actually play a unison interval because there is only one of these A's, but for instance, if you're playing on a guitar where you have different strings, you can play an A on one string and then go down to the next string and then play the exact same A on that string. And so if you play both strings at the same time and they're both playing that A, then you would call that unison interval. Now, a half step from A to A sharp is also called a minor second. Sometimes you'll hear that called a semitone. Then, of course, 2 half steps is a major second. 3 half steps is a minor third. 4 half steps is a major third. 5 half steps is a perfect fourth. 6 half steps is a tritone. 7 half steps is a perfect fifth. 8 half steps is a minor sixth. 9 half steps is a, pardon me, that should say major sixth. Major sixth. Oh, 10 half steps is a minor seventh, 11 half steps is a major seventh, and 12 half steps is, of course, an octave. Alrighty. Now, here's this very cool thing that you can do with this, is that it doesn't matter what note you start on. So if I copy this and then put it here and extend this all the way out, like, you know, our infinite piano, I can copy and paste this and put it anywhere I want. And if I wanted to know, hey, what is a minor sixth from D sharp? Well, all I do is I say, oh, great, here to here, from D sharp to B is a minor sixth. Or if I want to know what is a major seventh from C, well, I'll just copy paste. A major seventh from C would be a B. Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. So you see the power of this. Like when you flatten out this piano and you look at it like a spreadsheet, you can just sort of like copy and paste kind of wherever you want and see like everything just opens up for you. So like all of these intervals starting on F, I mean, here it is. It's just so simple. A perfect fourth from F is B flat. A perfect fifth from F is a B, or is a C, pardon me. So this is just a taste of the tremendous power of flattening out the piano, and just for educational purposes. And in the next few videos, we're going to be talking about why we care about these names, and we're going to get a little bit further into what the names really mean and how they're used in actual real professional musician life.